Hey crafters, this is Nye. So today what we are going to do is we are going to assemble a Christmas tree box. Now, I have all of my pieces, they are cut out. These brown pieces here are going to be the base of the box and they are going to form the actual brown tree bark of the tree. And then I've got this part over here, which has kind of my decorations to my tree. And this is where I have all of my small, tiny pieces here. So what I'm going to be using for gluing is my art glitter glue. And it dries clear, it's my favorite, and I love it, so that's what I'm going to be using. And we're gonna start here with gluing this one down first, only because this has so many small pieces, and I'm afraid that I might end up losing it here on my table, and I don't want that to happen, so we're just gonna kind of glue this one down first. All right, so let me think about how I want to do this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start with my lights, and I'm just gonna pull these off here, and I'll take that one too then, since it decided it wanted to come off. And all I'm gonna do is just add a little bit of glue right here to the bottom part of where the light is. Then I'm going to use my push pin. This is the same pin that I use here to, let me see if I can get it, where I use to clog my glue here and just to kind of keep it closed when I'm not using it. It's the very same pin that I'm using. And all I'm gonna do is I'm going to use that to pick up these little lights here and then just press it down. The only reason why I'm using them here right now is only because this is just a little bit easier to use instead of my tweezers. And whoops, that one kind of was a little bit harder. And all I'm doing is I'm pressing it down, okay? Now I'm gonna do the same thing here with these and just pushing these off a little bit. Then I'm gonna add just a little bit of glue right here. And then again, just using my push pin to pick up the actual light bulb. This one's gonna give me a hard time, so let's move on to this one. We'll come back to it. And it just makes it a little bit easier, like I said, using the push pin to pick it up and then just kind of put it into the right position. And let's go back to this one. I'm starting to get a little bit of dots here on it because I'm pressing it so much. So I'm actually going to go ahead and use my tweezers. So let me go and do this one. If it doesn't work, your tweezers are always there. I just feel like the push pin can sometimes be a little bit faster and easier. I'm just going to put these two down there. And then again, just a little bit of glue right here. And then using the pin. It's like, this one's not working either. Okay, let me just get this one right there. And then this last one. I'm only doing this one first because I kind of stacked them up to make sure I had all of the pieces and I didn't lose any, because these are kind of small and they were much easier just to get misplaced here on the table as I was cutting, because I was cutting out a lot today. Okay, and so I just added glue to the back of the star. And then again, same thing. I'm just going to press it down. I'm actually going to lift it up just a bit and then use my fingers to get it into the right position right there. I'm going to do the same thing now with the Merry Christmas, but this time I'm going to hold this part here with my tweezers. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of glue here to the back. Now with this one, there's the letters, obviously. You do kind of want to make sure that you're getting a lot of the letters. You want to also make sure that your glue has like a fine needle point to kind of help you to get just the thinness here. And so again, because this one is so small too, when you were cutting this, you really needed to just kind of take your time taking it off of the paper. So that way, let me just press it down. Sometimes doing two things at once, it can get a little tricky, trying to talk and then press it down. But as you can see, it's really kind of coming together. But anyway, so when you were cutting it, if you weren't, really careful, you could have ripped it. And so this one was just one of those ones where you just had to take your time really peeling your mat away from the cardstock, not your cardstock away from the mat. Otherwise it might have ripped. Okay, and so now we've got this part here, and all we're gonna do is just add a little bit of glue again to the back here, and then we're gonna glue this part down. And once you get this done, it's going to feel like it's going to get so much easier and faster. And then you also just don't have to worry about losing any of this here on your bench. All right, so I'm just adding my glue to a little bit here of the strand of lights, so that way I can glue it down. I'm kind of going and doing them all at once. If you don't want to, that's okay. You could kind of piecemeal it. I'm going to hold it here between my fingers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the star here with the top, if I can hold this part of the tree. Okay. And I'm going to get it there, and then let's lift it up. All right, let's put it down. Maybe that'll just be easier. It's going to go towards the bottom, but you want the top part of the tree, and then let's see if we can shift it here just a little bit to make sure that it fits. Okay. And then once you have it in the right position, then just press everything down. What you're really aiming for here is to get the star, these two parts, these 2 points of the star, to line up with the edge of the tree, okay? And then when you have that, then just press it all down. If you have any glue, like how I've got some here, you can just scrape it away. The great thing about art glitter glue is that it dries clear, so you don't have to worry about any white just kind of showing up on this green here. Okay, awesome. That's kind of cute just by itself. If you didn't even want to make the box, you could really just make this. And goodness, I wonder even what size it is. Maybe you could put this and make it a card. I don't know. It's kind of cute just by itself. I didn't even think of that. Okay. All right, so let's make the box part. I'm going to move my push pin out of the way now. What you're going to also need here is your bone folder. You want your bone folder, or even just a ruler here. Mine's all kind of sticky, obviously, because I craft a lot and I've gotten glue on it. But you do just kind of want to make sure that you have something that's a straight edge, so that way when you're doing these score lines, it's sharp and crisp. All right, so we are going to line everything up. And so when you have everything cut out, you want to go ahead and look for the little score lines that are on the base of the tree. One is a circle and one is a triangle. The sides also coordinate with the tree. So 3 of the sides have little circle score lines. Hopefully you can see that through the camera. 3 of the score line, or 3 of the sides here, they have circles on there. 1 circle, 2 circle, and then 3 circles. That's the order it's going to go. Same thing here with the other 3 that have the triangles. It's 1 triangle, 2 triangle, and then 3 triangles, okay? They're all gonna line up here. Now, you do kind of wanna line up your trees here to kind of have them in an order. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how they do kind of line up. There's gonna be the large, a middle, and then the smallest. And you can see it right here, okay? You can see how all 3 of these here, they're different sizes. The smallest one is going to be the insert that goes to the base of the box. The second smallest one is going to be the bottom of the box, and then the largest one is going to be the top. So the triangle here is going to be the top of our box. That's where this is going to glue down onto. And then this circle, and then the one that doesn't have one is going to be the base. So let's start with the top of the box here, okay? So I've got my triangle tree and then my 3 triangle sides. Now, because we have our tree here, when we go to glue this down, what we're gonna see is that this part here, the green, is not gonna cover this little triangle, okay? So when you go to add the sides, what you wanna do is take your triangle and flip it over, so that way it's going to be on the inside, okay? So when I say flip it over, we are going to be gluing the sides on the side that has the triangle. So that way it kind of goes onto the top of the box like so. Okay, all right. So here we go. Now, we're gonna take the first side that has 1 triangle, and that's where we're gonna begin to fold. And all we're doing is folding right along all of the score lines. And this is where you can use your bone folder if you want to kind of help get those score lines going and to get them nice, sharp, and crisp. Or you can use your fingers just like I'm using mine right here. It's a really personal choice and it's up to you, okay? So you can see we've got this here and that's good. And now we're ready to glue this down, okay? So we are going to match one triangle with one triangle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my glue here to the tabs, and then I'm going to come and line it up right at the bottom here. Now, you have to start at the spot where I'm starting. Triangle matches triangle. Okay, if you do it any other way, you're gonna find that it won't work because it's all measured and it has to go this way. All right, so I pressed it down and now we're ready to fold. So we're gonna add a little bit of glue right here and press, hold, and fold. And make sure that you're turning it as you're going, because you can see right here, we're following the shape. That's what we're going to be doing here. And you want to make sure that the edges line up with the edges, because if it's off just a little bit, it will show. And that one came up, so we're just going to add the glue again. And then we'll do it one more time. Hopefully, sometimes I always wonder if I'm coming out of the camera view when I'm gluing. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over this way so I can press and hold it and just really give it a chance to bond and dry. Okay. And so you'll also see too that some of the tabs, they have more of an angle. They're not like the perfect, I guess, trapezoid shape. They're going to be more of a triangle, and that's to account for, sorry, see, I'm getting distracted again as I'm folding here. That's to account for the corners. Okay, so I'm adding my glue to this part now. I'll lift these up and then pressing and holding, making sure I'm right along the edge. If you have any glue seeping out, it's okay. Like I said before, if you're using the art glitter glue like I am, it's going to dry clear, so you don't have anything to worry about. All right, so adding the glue there, flipping it, and then pressing everything down. I think that one got a little bit off. I'm not right at the corner, but that's okay too. Then we're going to do this part here, adding the glue again, and then flipping it right there. Yep. See, that's where it's a little bit off because I didn't come over far enough on that side, but that's okay. We're going to let it go and we're going to keep going. Okay. And then for this last piece right here, thankfully it was right kind of towards the end, so it'll be all right. Okay. All right, so that finishes the first part. If you've got any pieces sticking up, then just kind of go back in. I just lifted that. So let me go back and fix it. All right. And so just kind of give those corners a squeeze to make sure that they are all staying. Okay, so now the next part. The second piece that we're going to use is the triangle that has two triangles, and it also only has one score line right down the center. Okay, and so I'm going to do the same thing, just folding here all along the score lines and pressing that one down. You can just go both ways with it and pressing again. And then we're going to go this way now. All right. And so now we have a tab. This tab is going to line up right here with our piece here to seal it and to close up the gap there, so that way there's no opening. And I'm also going to go ahead and add the glue right here to that. And then once again, just coming and pressing in. I can't see this part, so I'm going to lift it here and just making sure that I'm getting right to the edge. Oh, That one little spot is really going to make everything off. All right. There we go. Well, all right. That's off just a bit. When I made my prototype, it worked just fine, but I actually had to make 2 prototypes when I did it, because the first one I was off. I was like, oh no. But the second time it was like perfect. I got it. Okay. And so the same thing now, what we're going to do is add more glue right here. And then lift up this one piece and just make sure that everything sits right on top there. And again, make sure that you're going from both sides, the front and the back. Okay, and that looks great. All right, and then just press everything down to make sure that the paper is bonding, because that's obviously very, very important. Okay, and now we're ready for the last one. And so this is the piece that has 3 triangles. And we're going to do the same thing again, is just folding along all of these score lines and making sure that we're getting them all here. Okay, and then folding this part, just make sure that we're getting them all again. And we're good. Okay. So now we're ready. We've got this part of the tab here that's got to line up with this, and it's going to go this way. Okay. So hopefully you can see that it's going to meet up like this. We're going to take it and go right in there like that. All right. So I'm going to add my glue right here. I'm also going to add it to my tab right here. And I'm going to hold it up so I can see, and hopefully you guys can see that as well. And then it's already starting to glue, or to bond, I should say. And then just making sure that I'm getting it perfectly there so that way it doesn't get off again. All right. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let me go ahead and flip this one out. All right, that works. Perfect. Okay. It's getting caught there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my glue again right to the paper. I might even do this part here. Let's see if we can get 2 at once. And there it goes. And I forgot to do that one part there. So I have a little bit of the tab sticking out. I'll have to clip that before I give you guys the file. Okay. Let me push this one out just a little bit. And I'm going to bend it right here. I'm going to come in and put my finger right on that part to make sure it gets down. And now we're ready to do this part. So adding just a little bit more glue right there. And pressing it down again. And then we're going to do these last 2 pieces. And then this will finish our lid. So this one's actually, it's kind of easy. It's kind of quick. Okay. Like I said, sometimes I get quiet as I'm doing it because I'm like, ah. Okay. And I'm going to push this part right there. And then I'm going to glue the tab as well, so that way I can seal off the lid. Okay. Perfect. All right, so there it goes. And this part here. So I have to fix this part, but if you have a pair of scissors, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clip this one. Okay. And so this will be the lid. Feels like it's got fuzzies on it. All right, and then you can take the green and then just glue this part down. Now, the star will not be glued down. That part's just gonna stand up, only because that would have been an extra piece for us to glue, and it would have been kind of difficult. So I added the glue there to the back, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my fingers here and just line it right up and press it down. And this will be the top of my box, and now let's work on the base. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna take the part that has the circle for the score line. Remember, this other one is gonna be the insert that's gonna sit right on top just to kind of cover this up, cover up the tabs if you wanted to put something inside it. And we're going to start with the edge that has one score line as well. And so same thing here. We're gonna do the same thing as we did for the lid, and just kind of scoring all of these tabs here and folding the paper where the score lines are, and then we're gonna glue this down. So I'm actually gonna speed up the video because the steps here are gonna be exactly the same. And so the video won't be crazy long either. All right, so you can watch. All I'm gonna do is the exact same thing that I did for the lid here, in just gluing the edges down here to the bottom of the box. Okay, so while that took a bit of time for me, it shouldn't take a lot of time for you guys who are watching. All right, and so as you can see, we've got the base of our box here. I'm just kind of going and making sure that, you know, these angles here are sharp. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this base and just kind of put it in, make sure that I've got, again, the right orientation. You saw it just once I got it, it just kind of fell right in. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull it back out. And then I'm just going to add some glue here to the back. And all this is going to do is just kind of cover up these tabs here on the inside, so it doesn't look as kind of messy, I guess you could say. And so there we go. And then just press it down. And so the great thing about this one is, if you want to, you can go ahead and add things inside. Use it like a box that, you know, has a surprise, or it's freestanding. So it will stand. Oh, so here we go. We're going to put it together. We've got the base and the lid. And so you just put it together and look at that. And it's freestanding, so it will stand up all on its own. Okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and happy crafting.